How do you move a live chat conversation to closure, even when you can't give your customer what they want? That's coming up in this video. If you could always give customers what they want, your job would be easy. Am I right? It'd be easy if we could always say yes, always give them that discount or that credit or that exchange. But that's not the reality, right? Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes you have to give bad news. A lot of the times there is no solution or no solution in the moment. So, in those complex situations, how do we guide the customer to closure? How do we guide them to closure without getting a lot of pushback? How do we get them to wrap up that conversation and accept our words as final without having to talk to our supervisor? Well, I created a 3-step framework for just this situation when you have to give bad news, when you cannot, in that moment, give the customer what they want. My 3-step framework is going to lower the temperature and guide customers to closure, to the next steps, or the options, if any, that you are able to present. My 3-step framework is going to get customers to hit that little X and close the chat window, keeping your average handle time down, keeping your stress low. So here, without further ado, are my 3 steps for guiding chat conversations to closure, even when you can't give your customer what they want. Step number 1, I want you to acknowledge the limitation. Acknowledge that limitation and express regret for that limitation. Offering some form of "I'm sorry" shows regret and validates your customers, making it easier for them to accept the situation when nothing can be done. Expressing regret might look like, "I know this isn't the answer you were hoping for, and I'm sorry for any inconvenience this may cause you. I'm so disappointed to hear that your lentils spilled during transit. I hate to think that you won't be able to fully enjoy your meals and that you have this mess to clean." Step 2, I want you to state to your customer what you can do. When you can take some action, even if it's not exactly what your customer wants, I want you to present your option with enthusiasm. "I've applied a credit for $20 toward a future order. I know this isn't the same as receiving a perfect shipment in the first place. However, I hope it allows us to show you a better experience." All right, step 3. I want you to guide your customers to the next steps. Move the conversation to closure by guiding customers to the next steps. You're just summarizing what you've already said, so it should be easy. Do this by restating your regret that you can't help and restating any options that you can offer. "I'm sorry I can't be more help with this, but if there's anything else I can do, I'm here." My best suggestion is to keep an eye on our social media and make sure you're signed up to receive our emails if you aren't already. We often send out notices about new collections. Taylor, I hope you have a fantastic afternoon. Limited options are a part of doing business. Nobody likes to say no. We don't want to have to give a customer bad news. They certainly don't like it. But Using my 3-step framework is going to make your job so much easier. It's going to be so much easier for you to respectfully wrap the interaction up and guide your customer to closure, even when you can't give them what they want. As your coach, it is my job to ensure that you not only learn a new skill, but that you apply what you learn. It's my job to make sure you do that, and that is what we are doing right now. There are two parts of learning any new skill, be that professionally or that personally. Number one, Number one is you have to take in new information. You have to learn something new or be exposed to a new concept. I've given you that so far in this video. Number two, you have to apply what you've learned, right? It does you no good to know a new skill if you don't do anything with it. You have to apply it. So, right now, I am going to give you some action steps that I want you to take right now before you get up, before you go to the next thing. 5 action steps that will ensure that you adopt and apply what you have learned today. Here are my action steps for you. First, I want you to identify a challenging scenario where you can't give the customer what they want. Make this something that is hard for you, that maybe it's stress inducing for you. It tends to go on longer than you know it needs to. Choose a scenario. Next, I want you to write out 1 or 2 sentences to acknowledge the limitation and express regret for the limitation. That is step 1 of our framework. An example is, I know this isn't the answer you were hoping for, and I'm sorry for any inconvenience this may cause you. Next, I want you to write out how you would explain what you can do. This is step 2 in our framework, and it might look like this. I've applied a credit for $20 toward a future order. I know this isn't the same as receiving a perfect shipment in the first place. However, I hope it allows us to show you a better experience. Next, move the conversation to closure by guiding customers to the next steps. Restate your regret that you can't fully help and offer any options if they are available. This, of course, is step 3 of our framework, and it might look like this. I'm sorry, I can't be more help with this, but if there's anything else I can do, I'm here. The final thing I want you to do, and this is fun, I want you to share right here in the comments your best practices for moving chat to closure in your regular course of business when you can't give the customer what they want. What are you doing now? What has worked for you? What have you learned from your supervisor or your colleagues? So share with us a phrase or an approach right here in the comments that you've used and that's worked for you. Your ideas will help somebody, and you might discover solutions from other people who go to the comments and share. So don't skip this final action step. It's powerful for everybody, and it makes this learning experience better for everybody. These action steps will build your confidence. You're going to communicate with more assertiveness, and you are going to find that you handle challenging interactions so much easier. It's going to be easier for you to guide your customers to the next steps, even when you cannot give them what they want in the moment. Now, I want you to take these action steps right here, right now, before you go on to the next video, before you go back to work. I want you to stop and give the gift to yourself of applying what you've learned by taking these action steps. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. It means so much to me that you would stop on my video, that you would stay to the end. It makes my day. If you like what you experienced in this video, will you do me a favor and like this video? If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I invite you to subscribe, and that way you always know when I release a new training video. All right, friends, I will see you next time.